Wow. See how crazy my hair looks? That's just because I was just hitting about 30 miles per hour on this bad boy right here. So there's a couple things we're going to talk about here. First of all, this is a new upgraded version of Engwe's EP2 Pro, and did they ever make it better? For sure. It is hands down better. If you've rode the first EP2 Pro, this blows it out of the water, no questions asked. But today we're going to talk a little bit about what they did differently and just an overall review of this new model they have. Now, this one's fast, so let's talk about it. All right, let's talk installation. This thing was so easy. It's literally just one piece and then you'd undo it. Heck, my baby even did most of the work. She did a great job too. But for real, all you have to do is put the front tire on, install like the handlebars, which takes like literally one wrench. It's all really self-explanatory, and there's plenty of other videos that break it down on how to do it. So it's really easy. That is except for this stupid rack. It is so hard to put on. I hate it. So much so I had to take the one from my old EP2 Pro and put it on the new one because I was just not having it. So let's talk differences between the bikes. There's really not much that they've done to the new version. You could see they kind of squared off this front design, which I think looks really good compared to the old one, which is just kind of a straight circular kind of look. Not that the old one looked bad. It's just nice to see kind of an upgrade. It matches their other style too. They look really good together. The other big difference that's not the best is the wheels. I feel like they are a little bit cheaper. See on the new one how they're kind of like this curved, thinner metal design. Maybe it's more aerodynamic or, you know, stronger in some ways, but it just does seem a little bit cheaper. But other than that, there's not much changes. Now the seat actually is different. And even though the old one looks like it might be nicer, I actually think the new one looks and feels a little bit better. It's a little more cushy. But other than that, yeah, it's literally just a battery upgrade, and it is worth it, let me tell you. All right, this is the part where I go over the bike and tell you what I like and what I don't like. It looks so small in my phone's camera lens right now. It's a pretty big bike. That being said, the riding geometry, you're pretty smushed in there. It's not like aggressive or off-road or anything. It's comfortable though, don't get me wrong. It's just fine. You're gonna want to tinker with the handlebar height, the seat height a little bit to get it kind of dialed in. But anyway, back to the parts here. Let's start with the brakes. We got mechanical, not hydraulic, very cheap, no name, but they do the job. They stop the bike, and that's all that you want to make sure. My suggestion is maybe get new pads in here, because the brakes are fine, but if you get like what's called there's either resin pads or metallic pads. Metallic pads on an e-bike I prefer, actually. I've put it in a couple of my e-bikes. Now there's a downside though. First of all, you're gonna get way better stopping power, which you want when you're going at speeds of 20 miles per hour or more. However, you'll wear them out a little bit faster. So it's kind of a give and a take, but I do recommend checking out some mechanical brake pads. They're real easy to change too, especially on these mechanical. So that's the brakes. Again, they're kind of whatever. Kickstand, kind of whatever. We don't need to talk about that. This rack, you already heard me whine about it. It's on. Once it's on, it's sturdy. It's versatile. You know, it's great that it even comes with a rack. There's a lot of e-bikes that'll make you pay more for that. So I guess I shouldn't complain too much, but hey, I hated putting it on. The fender, luckily this one came on. I never put fenders on my e-bikes. I just personally don't see them as a very useful thing. In fact, they're like you'll see on the front, I didn't bother putting it on. On all my e-bikes, I ignore it because when I do put it on, they're so cheap, they're so flexible, like they always end up rubbing against the tire for me. I kind of hate it. So do what you will though. Drivetrain. I always say this in my reviews, but you're going to want to put a little bit of grease on this. Out of the factory, it does not have a lot. There's something on it for sure. Like watch when I touch this, it's almost like it's silver spray paint. Can you see that on the camera? It's kind of gross. But anyway, you're gonna want to probably just put a little bit of grease on that. Put some grease Sorry about that awkward cut, guys. My camera died, but I'm back here. So I was complaining about how you should make sure to lube everything up. That's where we left off here, and probably complaining about how cheap these pedals are, but also saying they do the job. Plus they have this neat little trick where you can fold them up when you're folding the rest of the bike up. If you're interested in using it for that feature, right here you can see is the little attachment. You just thumb that, pull it up, and then it breaks in half here. So we'll actually fold this back up real quick. I never really used my folding e-bikes as a folding e-bike, I guess. Other than once, I think I crammed it in the back of my Tesla. That was pretty helpful one day. But yeah, so that it folds right there, as well as right here, just like all other folding e-bikes. I don't really get in depth with that stuff, just because if you've seen an e-bike fold before, it's just like that. They all use this exact same, well, why not? There. Now it's folded. And we're locked. Okay. Wheels. I love them. They're big, beefy, 20-inch fat tire, 4-inch. So much so, go watch my old Engwe video. I did that review in the winter, and I actually took it snow biking, and it was awesome and super fun. A newfound hobby of mine, actually, is taking these guys. We had like a frozen lake, and we're just tearing it up with this, and then I had another e-bike that we were just ripping it. It's so much fun to do. One lesson I learned, though, is wipe the chain when you're done doing that, or it will rust. These are cheap chains that I think are spray painted. Again, watch this. That's nasty. That's like silver. I don't know. Not good bike grease. So that's really all to show you here. Oh, you know what? The fork, actually. You have a lockout, which they didn't have to do, but they did. That's a really nice feature. And it works. Like it's a nice, solid, clunky, solid clunk is what I'm trying to say. So you got a lockout if for whatever reason. Maybe, I guess if you're not going all terrain and you're on the road, you can squeeze another mile per hour out of it, I guess. Okay, let's change this to miles per hour. So holding the plus and minus with 2 fingers will open up this menu area. Okay, so we go to UN for units. We press this side button here. We press up again to go to miles per hour, and then probably, okay, yeah, I press the side button again to save it. All right, there it is. Okay, let's keep riding. All right, let's slowly work our way up. We're gonna start in 2. Very, very much a cruising speed here. And we are doing throttle only right now. Just low ride it. You can also, I don't know if you can hear, they're using a different free hub in the back. It's got a nice chunkier sound to it. All right, let's get a little faster here. Let's move to 3. Okay, a dramatic difference between 2 and 3 here. A little bit of torque there too. I think we're ready for 5. Oh yeah. my new test hill. This thing's pretty steep. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, we're making it work hard. We're down to 12 miles per hour. Oh, it's so steep right here too. I know it doesn't look it in the video, but it's a pretty significant grade. All right, pretty big slowdown, probably half speed, but it did it. All right, let's give it a little pedal. All right, let's talk some final thoughts here and what I think about this new EP2 Pro. EP2 Pro. Anyway, I really like it. I'm super surprised just because how the version before this was. They truly, man, my hair's a mess. Sorry, I look like a disaster. Ew. The difference of this thing and the last version is night and day. I felt like the other thing was fine, but it didn't have that power that I was like used to in other e-bikes I ride. This thing has that. It's nothing like groundbreaking, but like I said, you saw in the footage, well, I gotta say the speedometer is actually pretty accurate. I rode by two city operated speed trap signs or whatever, where they tell, like, warning, they tell you you're going fast, and it was like always within just like a 1 mile per hour, so pretty accurate, which I can't say for most e-bikes I try. Anyway, it's great. It was really exceeded my expectations, and it was a fun to ride. It checks all the boxes for a folding bike, so it doesn't really matter what you're comparing it to. It's in a similar price range, so really would I like recommend it over something like the Ratten LM750 or that's a tough one because they're both really close in price. I've been more of a fan of Ratten. It's hard to say, but this one is better now. If this upgrade didn't come out, I would pick the Ratten just all day long, but now it's a tough decision. And like the electric and bikes like that, it gets tough because technically this has got a better motor, it's got a couple better features, so it's a tough decision on like where it ranks. Maybe we'll do that in another video, but you can't go wrong. If you're considering this and you think it'll work, I'm here to say, yeah, it'll probably work. You know, and then the other question I get a lot is there's a bigger version of this, and should you get that versus this one? And again, if they didn't do the upgrade like this one has, I would say yes, definitely get the better version of this one. Now, I don't think you need it. What does the other one have? It has rear suspension. It has hydraulic brakes versus instead of these mechanical brakes, just like kind of nicer quality materials. I think it has an air fork instead of this spring fork. So yeah, you're gonna get better mechanical features, but they're still kind of just like, you know, cheap made materials. So you're getting the same motor and battery power on this one now that I don't think it's worth upgrading. Save a couple $100 and use this. It's a great first option. I think if it's one of your first e-bikes, definitely check it out. But yeah, that was my review, and if you have any questions, like I usually say, I'm pretty active in the comments, so if you have anything at all, please don't hesitate to ask. Better than expected. If I had to put this in one simple headline, the new EP2 Pro is better than I thought it'd be. It was fast. All right, guys, I'm out. Bye.